909 in Studio is brought to you by 90.9 The Bridge in Kansas City. To find out how you can become a sustaining member or to donate, go to bridge909.org.
ZZ Ward down the hallway in Studio Way, live here on The Bridge.
Truly a treat. This is the first time that we've had ZZ Ward in the studio here at the Bridge. Thanks for coming in.
My pleasure. Thanks for having us.
And by the way, congratulations on The Storm.
Thank you.
It's just a really, really, really good record. You have to be very proud.
Thank you.
You know, some people have like the breakup record, but you just sort of mined all breakups in your entire life for this one, right?
Yes, that's true. I found a lot of inspiration through a lot of past relationships and a lot of things that I was, still had a lot of things to say about. So I kind of cleaned out my closet on this album.
So is the slate now clean?
No, I've still got plenty to talk about.
That's really good for an artist.
I don't think
you
that'll
got to
go
hold
away.
on to a little bit of that.
Always.
Tonight you're performing with Kaleo over at the Midland, and it just sort of struck me that both you and Kaleo fell in love with American roots music.
Mm-hmm.
They happen to do it in Iceland. You happen to do it in Oregon. I wondered if you'd bonded with them over any of that.
I mean, it is, it's such an honor to be out on the road with them. Watching them play every night. I really love their sound, and it's really fun to hear influences of blues in their music too, with the harmonica to the melodies and to everything. It's a really good mix of music. So we've just had a great time being out there on the road and also sharing our music with some of their fans. So.
Yeah. It's funny when people come in and we talk about their early influences, like where did it come from? Did it come from peers? Did it come from parents? And, you were a human being when you were a girl. You liked your Alanis Morissette. You wrote your fan letter to the Spice Girls. But it was your parents.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, my dad got really into the blues. So when I was growing up, there was Howlin' Wolf and Muddy Waters and Big Mama Thornton playing around the house. It was Thanksgiving dinner with Howlin' Wolf in the background. So it was just something that I was kind of brought up with, and I always really connected with the authenticity of the blues and the tone of the singers' voices and their confidence. So I always really, really connected with it from a young age, and I think it's important to me to keep the blues alive in some way. I'm not a traditional blues artist, but I like to mix blues influences with some other genres as well in my stuff. So.
Now, there was also like Zeppelin and Stones and stuff like that around your house too.
Yeah.
Is that how your parents found it? It was through Zeppelin and the Stones, or do you even know?
So many people, right?
Yeah.
I think possibly. Yeah, I think my parents were really into rock, and then they started kind of looking into some of Zeppelin's and Rolling Stones influences, and started discovering such a incredible new world of music that they hadn't really known about.
I was thinking about your parents and their love of particular types of music, and they had to be just floored when you opened for Clapton in 14.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I think I brought my dad out with me to play harmonica on those shows, so I think he had a great time, and it was an incredible honor, to be able to do that and play with such a legend. So.
A lot of people have talked about your dad's influence, and you even played in his blues band starting at the age of about 11.
Mm-hmm.
But your grandmother played harmonica too, right?
Yeah, she did actually. I didn't really think about that so much, because you just get used to things. But we have pictures of her with like her old wrinkly hands on a harmonica, and she played too. And my dad was always playing when I was growing up, and I actually got into playing harmonica a lot later. I really kind of I didn't get too into it until I started touring, I think, actually. So.
Yeah, your dad's blues band, he actually had a female bass player in there.
Yeah.
Was that like an inspiration, make you feel like you could be a part of that too, or is that just...
Good old Glennis. Her name was Glennis. Yes, definitely an inspiration. I think, her hands from playing bass, I have never seen someone's hands with more calluses on them. It was really, really awesome. Definitely, she was an inspiration to me, and also, like Bonnie Raitt and Susan Tedeschi. And, I think about them often when I'm out there on the road, and usually one of, not many females out there, at least at the venues that we're playing and on the crew and stuff. And, I think that they're definitely inspirations to me. Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, we just are totally honored to have you in the studio. We'd love to hear some music. ZZ Ward today on the Bridge.
I got 10 fingers to the sky, my back to the wall, my white flag high. Her lips just like a gun, she's got silver bullets on its tongue. He's deep under her spell, I'm screaming out, but it just won't help. I think I'm crazed, I had it faced. Alan and mercy, you don't even wanna break my heart. Take what's mine, don't hurt me, steal my money and steal my car. Don't take my man, don't take my man. I said don't take my man, 'cause you know you can't. Put the gun down, ooh, put the gun down, ooh. She stole my man, took him from me. She's got crimson eyes, a screaming body. Face is young, she must taste sweet. She drops those pennies to her knees, walking on my happy home. She won't give up until I'm gone. I think I'm crazed, I had it faced. Alan and mercy, you don't even wanna break my heart. Take what's mine, don't hurt me, steal my money and steal my car. Don't take my man, don't take my man. I said don't take my man, 'cause you know you can't. Put the gun down, ooh, put the gun down, ooh. Put the gun down. Got your finger on the trigger now. Put it down, put it down, put it down, put it down. Put the gun down, put the gun down. Oh, I'ma set fire to the whole damn house. Put it down, put it down, put it down, put it down. Yeah. What line? Alan and mercy, you don't even wanna break my heart. Take what's mine, don't hurt me, steal my money and steal my car. Don't take my man, don't take my man. I said don't take my man, 'cause you know you can. Put the gun down, ooh, 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 ooh. Put the gun down, ooh, 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 ooh. Put the gun down, ooh, 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 yeah.
That was really great. ZZ Ward in our studios. You can learn more at zzward.com. The new album is The Storm, and she's performing tonight with Cleo over at the Midland Theater. So that love of blues, you know, is not just those performers that you mentioned, but on top of that, it was those Alan Lomax field recordings.
Yes, absolutely. I, at some point, was told about Alan Lomax, and I was like, what is this? And then I started kind of diving into all of those field recordings and really just blown away by so many of those. I mean, through that, I discovered Vera Ward Hall, who's been a really big influence on my vocals. And yeah, just, gosh, thank goodness he went and collected all of those amazing pieces of music, you know?
You know, so much of those things are such bare instrumentation and simple arrangements, and then we listen to your records, and they're often big and booming, and I wondered, you know, if that was maybe attributed, you know, something we could attribute to one of the other influences musically in your life, which was your brother, who brought hip hop to the party.
Yeah. At the same time, you know, I was told I wasn't allowed to listen to his, you know, music. So
Which meant you were going to.
Of course. So yeah. So I'd start listening to his Nas and Jay-Z CDs, and yeah, just really connected also with the authenticity of that and the rhythms a lot, you know, and the power of that and the movement of that music. And you know, it is interesting. I think that on the new album, I really just felt very confident in who I was. I think that, you know, as an artist, we're asked to put ourselves into genres so much. And I think being a true artist, you have to just make music that feels good and not worry too much about where you're going to fit. So.
Yeah, and so, you know, you love that old acoustic stuff, but, you know, that doesn't mean that you can't have it really hit. Conversely, I mean, you're very comfortable on acoustic guitar, clearly, right?
Yes.
But you worked with Billy Gibbons. He won't touch an acoustic guitar.
I've heard that about Billy, which is interesting. I think we all have our different reasons for doing things. I think for me, there's something about I like to keep the kind of back porch blues kind of feel going a little bit. And so I did that a lot on my first record. And, there's different influences on my second album. There's some slide guitar on my second album and things like that. But, I don't know. I've always kind of enjoyed playing the acoustic.
So you started writing at the age of 13. Were those blues songs, rock songs?
They're just really emotional songs. I think it was like the baby steps to what I would become as a songwriter. I think that the first time I sat down at like a Hammond B3 organ and really wrote something, I think it was called like Collapse or something. It was very, it was like me figuring out that I could take my emotions and everything that I was feeling and put that into music and then sing about it. And it was just kind of me realizing my realization of my gifts, I guess. So.
Start with the music? Go to lyrics?
Yes. I usually start with a melody. Usually. It depends. I mean, sometimes I start with a lyric, or I think the easiest way to write a song usually is if you start with a concept, because if you have a concept for a song, something interesting and something different, something people can relate to, I think is important.
Do you write in your head, at the piano, guitar?
Everywhere. I think, a lot of times, I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, but I think as a songwriter, you can never quite feel completely confident in your ability, because it's something you can't explain when it actually hits you and actually makes sense. And it doesn't always come. And sometimes, there's different kind of writers. You have like writers like Leonard Cohen, who wrote Hallelujah in over, a few years. And then you have other songs that come really quick to people. And I don't think, my personal feeling is that it's not about the speed you write a song. I think each piece is completely different, you just have to let it have its own life.
You have had that experience of having songs come really quick, though. As an example, If You Stayed on the current record, that one just came out probably under an hour.
Yeah.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but, I don't know if it was right after you wrote it, but you sang a vocal track in your garage, and recorded it, and didn't feel like you could do any better. So that's the one we hear on the record.
Yeah, it's I'm very proud of that when you say that. I think that when you first write a song, you're really, really feeling that emotion more than ever, and sometimes that's the best time to really capture that. And if you try to recreate it later, it might not. You might be trying to act it too much, So, I recorded that vocal by myself, and I kept it, and I just had the right stuff to record it, though, which is important, so you can actually use it. Because some of the stuff on the first album I would record on like GarageBand or something like that, and right into the computer, and then you couldn't use it. So you have to make sure you're capturing it on the right equipment. But yeah, you have all this stuff inside you that wants to come out. Clearly music has always been your thing. There's no plan B here. Hard to launch from Roseburg, Oregon, which is like an hour plus outside of Eugene. So age of 20, picked up, moved to LA. Yeah. I think that there was really nothing else I ever wanted to do. And I think it took me a little bit of time to figure out that I really had to, I lived in the middle of nowhere. I mean, I really did. There was like 1,500 people in the town that I went to school at, and I would always watch, Etta James come through and play the half shell in our town, or I'd go to the Brit in Jacksonville and see, Susan Tedeschi play, and I'd like look at the tour buses and be like, wow, like that would be so amazing to like be on that. And now I am on those tour buses, and it's a whole different thing. But I think that it was always something that I really wanted to do, and I felt like I could connect with people through music, and I definitely knew that early on, so I wanted to explore that. Yeah,
your brother was in LA, so that had to make it a little bit more comfortable, but just the traffic from Roseburg, Oregon to LA. That would have been enough to get me to turn around and go back. I think.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. I was very intimidated by the traffic. I remember when I first moved there, like I drove like a 1990 Dodge Ram in Oregon that I was like scared to drive in the city. And like my girlfriend was like, come to the Viper Room, we're watching music. And I was like, oh, can you pick me up? And she was like, you have a car. And I'm like, I can't drive on Sunset. Like, and now it's, you get used to it. It's no problem. So
yeah, so in LA for 4 years, and you come out with the first record, and you really had an amazing degree of success, and you were collaborating with Kendrick Lamar and Fitz from Fitz and the Tantrums, and you got a lot of radio airplay on it. It was really quite a success story, and you toured and you toured and you toured, which is what you need to do to make that record a win. But then it gets to be 3 years out, and you need another record.
Yeah.
And you made one. And then you decided you even, like, there was a release date. There was a name for it. There was a release date. You were out touring on it. And then you decided this isn't me and scrapped it. This is a very unusual story.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I had been touring for like you said, like 3 years. I felt pressure to come up with an album. I put something together that I think was, at the point I was out there on the road starting to tour again, I just felt like I hadn't really done what I wanted to do. I didn't feel that I felt like I wanted to go deeper into my blues influences and simplify that and really, really be confident in who I was. And so I made a really hard decision to scrap the record and to start from nothing and make an entirely new album. So I just had to stop thinking about any pressure around me and what anybody else wanted, and just I had to remember that the most important thing is the music. I think when you look back on these great albums throughout time, it's like you don't think about how much time they took. That's not what it's about. That's a different thing. That's a big machine. I think that as artists, we have to remember that we're responsible for creating great music, and that's what I want to fight for. So,
I just want to stop right now and say that The Storm feels like a very authentic record. It sounds like it's you.
Thank you.
And so, like, mission accomplished. But at that moment, did you have a thing where you say, okay, now, like, I've just blown up a record, I've blown up a marketing plan, and now I've got this blank canvas?
Yeah.
It's not like there's no pressure with that either.
No, there was, and I think that it was really scary, like releasing this album. I was definitely like very humble, like not sure how it would be received, and so seeing it go to like number 4 on the iTunes charts and watching it go number 1 on the blues album charts, like I couldn't have appreciated that more because I wasn't expecting anything. So it was really amazing.
Well, the new album is called The Storm. It's ZZ Ward. It's really a great piece of work. It'll be at the merch table tonight at the Midland when she plays along with Kaleo. And we'd love to hear another song if we could.
She's got Chanel up on her lips, up on her skirt, down on her hips. All I got is just a couple pair of jeans. She's so hot, and she's the only thing you see. If I had her heels on, I would never do you wrong. She treats you like a patient with the light she got you on. Turn the lights off, 'cause I'm all yours. Cover you in my curves, I'll give you what you deserve. We could get lost, get the lines crossed, run you like a fever. Oh, yeah. If I could be her, whoa, 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 whoa. I'll keep you forever. She's got the perfect little car. I drive a Chevy with a paint pen and knife. She's got a daddy's credit card, yeah. I play for dollars down on Diamond Boulevard, and if I had her heels on, I would never do you wrong. She treats you like a patient with the light she's got you on. Turn the lights off, 'cause I'm all yours. Cover you in my grace, I'll give you what you like a fever. Oh, yeah. If I could be high, oh, I'd keep you forever. If I was hurt, I'd be your silver lining after the storm. 'Cause I can't stand seeing you crying no more. Off, 'cause I'm all yours. Cover you in my curves. I give you what you deserve. We could get lost, get the lines crossed, run you like a fever. Whoa, 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 whoa. Turn the lights off, 'cause I'm all yours. Cover you in my curves. I give you what you deserve. We could get lost, get the lines crossed, run you like a fever. Whoa, yeah. Be high.
ZZ Ward live today here on the bridge. The new album is called The Storm, and just a really great piece of work. The Storm, basically, when you came in to do this and you were looking at that blank canvas, one thing that you kind of knew you wanted to do is maybe go back to those early inspirations.
Yes, absolutely. I just, I've always had this special place in my heart for the blues and, growing up singing my dad's blues band and things like that. It's like how I learned how to be on stage, how I learned to give a solo. And, I just think for me, I think so much music comes out of that. So I definitely wanted to get deeper into that. Yeah.
You were listening to some John Lee Hooker
Yes.
at one point.
Yes, absolutely. I love John's ability to stay in the one of like a 1-4-5 and how he just kept that tension going for so long. I think he's, at least to me, very well known for that. So he definitely inspired, one of the songs called Let It Burn on the record for me.
You in a very early interview, you were asked who you wanted to collaborate with, and one of the first names out of your mouth was Gary Clark Jr., and
Yes.
you got him this time.
Yes. I toured with Gary early on. He brought me on the road with him, and he's a wonderful guy and so talented. And so we had this. I had this opportunity to write a song for the new Cars 3 movie. So I wrote the song with Evan Bogart, and they liked it. They wanted to do it. So I went to an incredible producer. His name is Dave Bassett, and had Dave produce it. And Gary got on it and played guitar and did some singing. So yeah, it's awesome.
It's so funny because a lot of times those things are just sort of like, you throw your line out there, but you don't know if the movie people are going to bite. And so it had to be just really exciting when they said that they wanted to
It was
use
because
it.
we actually wrote a song. We wrote one song and they wanted it. They didn't like it. They said, maybe try it again, try something else. And so at that point, you're kind of like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work out, And then we wrote something else. I think we tried to rewrite the first song for a while, and it just wasn't happening. And then all of a sudden, we just broke off. It was like the songs in between the songs.
Yeah.
We just broke off into this other song, and it came together. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
We loved playing that one on the air, and we've just started to play Cannonball a few weeks back. And I love the story about that one being written. It's like the power goes out. What else are you going to do? I might as well write a song, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it was funny because I think that now we're so reliant on technology, having the whole studio set up and being ready to record. So when the power goes out and you start losing power on all of your devices, I was forced to write something that was very simplistic. because I had to remember it. So yeah, I like lit some candles, and people make fun of me because I was in LA, but I swear it was cold. So it was a cold day. It was a chilly day.
Yeah,
And,
when I read the story, I was very surprised that you had a blanket in LA.
I know. Everyone's like, come on, get out of here. We've been in Kansas City before when it was a snowstorm and our bus got stuck in the snow. So I'm sure everyone here is like, it wasn't cold, but
Yeah.
I was cold.
You just caught a live video, I believe, of Cannonball, but there's sort of a produced studio kind of polished up version of the song in video. And, that is such a soulful singing performance from both you and from Fantastic Negrito.
Yeah.
It's just mind-blowingly great.
Thank you.
You two fit so well.
Yeah, well, I had actually, I had been listening to his music. I was a really, a big fan of his. I get to work with, collaborate with other artists that I'm a fan of theirs, so I feel really lucky in that. And I had been listening to him. I love his tone, and I love his, keeping the blues alive. I think I really respected that. And I had this song, Cannonball. I had actually already recorded my parts and produced it out, and I just thought maybe he would fit really well on that song, and got really fortunate in that he was digging it and he wanted to be on it, and it was really fun to see him write his verse to the song because he really wanted to know what the song meant to me and what it was about, because he wanted to be authentic to the story, which was so cool to see his process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also pulled in some people that you used on the first record, including Fitz. From
Yeah.
Fitz and the Tantrums.
Yeah. I got together with Fitz again. I thought, I said, you want to write? And he was off the road. So we went up to his house and we wrote a song called Domino together. Fitz really loves to, we just sit at his piano and we just jam. We just start singing and whatever. And he's like, keep singing. I'm like, that's good. And he's like, no, keep singing. Just keep going. And we'll try to write something really quickly. So yeah, he's brought me on tour with him before early on, and he's always been a good friend, and he's incredible, such an incredible talent. So.
Yeah. I almost hesitate to bring this up, but I know that from previous interviews, you've mentioned him a couple of times, and I think we're all suffering a little bit this week with the loss of Tom Petty.
Oh my gosh, of course. I think, it's crazy to lose these icons like Prince and Bowie and now Petty. It's, I think it, especially people that have just had such a voice, through music and culture and what's going on. I think it's really sad, but I think that you also have to, in an uplifting way, look at what Petty did for music. I mean, such an inspiration to me, and so many great songs that, he's influenced so many artists, and definitely someone that made me want to be an artist in the first place and made me want to go on the road. And strive to make the best music that I can, so huge influence on me, yeah.
Speaking of artists, would you like to introduce your cohort?
Yes, this is Max Khaleesi.
All right. We'd love to hear another song if we could.
Absolutely. I hear the rain on the rooftop, Crown and Coke on a table by my bed. Yeah, I'm lying here like it's my grave, a bag of bones with a fire in my head. Oh, yes, I am. Yeah. I tell you no, then you start to give in. You tear me down, then we do it all over again. And again, I'm down on my knees, and I'm screaming, I'm fiending, I'm begging you please. Yeah, if you don't love me, baby, just stop. Tell me how can it be? I'm still breathing, I can't quit, I need help, set me free. Yeah, shoot me up, cause you know that I'll drop. Fly, then I fall. Yeah, every time that you call, I'm nothing but your cannonball. Cannonball. I tell myself that it's over. I walk away, but I end up at your doorstep. Come on. Yeah. Oh, it's summertime when you're near me. But when it's cold, oh, it's just so damn easy to forget. So I'm left down on my knees, and I'm screaming, I'm a fiend, and I'm begging you, please. If you don't love me, baby, just stop. Tell me how can it be? I'm still breathing, I can't quit, I need help, set me free. Shoot me up, cause you know that I'll drop, yeah. Hey. 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 Then I fall, yeah, every time you call. I'm nothing but your cannonball. Cannonball. I tell you no, then you start to give in. You tear me down, and we do it all over again, yeah, and again.
ZZ Ward today on the bridge. That was quite lovely.
Thank you.
Songwriter, performer, recording artist, third-generation harmonica player.
That's me.
Yeah, ZZ Ward. You can catch her tonight with Kaleo at the Midland Theater, and you can find out more at zzward.com. And the new album is The Storm. Congratulations, great record.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for taking your time today. I know it's a busy day.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Can't tell you how much we appreciate it. ZZ Ward this morning on the bridge.
909 in Studio is brought to you by 90.9 The Bridge in Kansas City. To find out how you can become a sustaining member or to donate, go to bridge909.org.